All right, and hello and welcome to round 15. This will be race 2 of the 2019 AK Racing V8 Supercar Championship. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't know me too well at AK Racing. I've only done a couple of GT3 and IMSA races, but I've been roped in. Well, Brock did try to rope me in to do the supercars for next season, even this season. But unfortunately, this season the Sundays are no good for me. I do run or do race in another series on the Sundays that the supercars falls on. And next season, well, seeing the grid that was so big and there was no real representation or broadcast, I thought, well, why not do it myself? Because supercars aren't my favourite cars to drive. But with a big grid, there should be some fantastic racing up and down the field. So here we are, and we're going to watch this. Well, we're going to go through the second race here at Oulton Park. Now, I do know obviously the top 3 result, but throughout the field, I do not know. A big problem as well for this stream, it's going to make it a bit difficult, is that replays do not show positions. So you're going to have to bear with me just a little bit as I try and get through the positions and try and get them right. But, well, I'm not going to be able to get them right because it doesn't show up in any of the live timing or any of the apps, really. So just going to be winging it here. Anyway, let's hope I don't muck this up too much, and hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. But obviously, just to go over a couple of things, and that is the circuit we're racing at Oulton Park, United Kingdom, 4.333 kilometres, 17 turns, 2 races. This evening, this is the second, both being 26 laps. Now, the race is just about to get underway, but thankfully I can pause it. But anyway, let's cut to the action and hopefully get underway. There we go. Away we go. I've had a couple of cars off on the grid there. One of the green Helix cars back there. And looks like there's been a safety car immediately called. Everybody has slowed to a halt. So we're on board Andy O'Hara. In the Autobahn car, Craig Lowndes livery. So, see, at this moment, the tyres haven't had a chance to warm up. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens on the restart. I don't see many drivers warming their tyres or brakes. There is no formation lap in AC. So, let's see how the drivers handle the cold tyres and cold brakes on the restart. So hopefully no damage was incurred there. As I'll try and actually find out who that was. It did drop down the field. It was one of the black and green Shell Helix cars. Just cycle through the field. Looks like Peter Reid is the one that had the issue off the start line, but it doesn't look like he's got too much damage on his car, and hopefully he'll be able to make his way back up through the field after dropping a few spots there. nice custom liveries in the field as we go green. Scotty leading us away. And looks like no incidents this time around, at least at the front of the field. Scotty leads away. Coming out of Cascades, now Island Bend. He's ran a little bit wide. He's on the grass, off in the boonies, and that's going to drop him down the field. And he's just avoided the barrier, but that's going to drop him well down the field. And one of the Nisses there almost joining him, very wide himself. But that's dropped him all the way down the back of the field. Peter Reid all over, bouncing all over the place there, coming out of the Shell Oils corner. A bit of biff and barge between Brock and Tony French there. And French on the grass through the Nickerbrook and Hislop, well, through Hislops I should say. We've got a couple of cars off in the background. Simon Phillips was one of the cars in the Monster Energy car. Oh, and that's a big incident there for Josh Lynn. A bit of airtime there. And wouldn't surprise me if he's copped a bit of damage, but still going. And sister Craig Lowndes, the red car behind him. Andy O'Hara. Scotty all the way at the back now. So Brendan Cahill in the lead. And looks like he's got a comfortable margin of second place at Cotter. A little bit of a lock up there. Got it through Island Bend. Third place. Being lazy there. Andrew Hembry car. One of the best looking liveries, I have to say, that I've seen in any Supercars league that I've been around. Ripsol livery. He's currently running third place. Behind him, Brock is seems to be holding up Tony French quite a bit. These guys have a little bit of a gap over the next group behind them. So we've got see the leader out in front by a bit of a gap in the next two cars, and then we've got this group of three, and then we've got another group of a few cars further back. But Brock's run wide there at Druids, but so did Peter Reid, and now Peter Reid under a bit of attack, and Greg Brock holds on for now. So you see the move in the background. French holds on for now. It's Riley Guttison behind him. They've got a bit of a gap over Simon Phillips. Behind Simon Phillips is Peter Reid. So Peter Reid's come to the field quite nicely. He's got a bit of a gap now over David Brister. Scott Couture. Looks like Jeff Hobson overtaken around the outside. Shell Oil's corner. It's a nice move. The Keys. Be happy with that one, that's for sure. Okay, Racing miss it. Hobson now under attack from Hall behind him. Right on board. Up the inside. It's a little bit of argy-bargy up ahead. Bristol now, he looks like he's holding up all three of these cars. Bristol up wide on the exit of Nickerbrook, and it's dropped him down a couple of spots now. So that's dropped him behind not only Hall and Hobson, but also Anthony Cesana. I do apologise if I do butcher your name there. Behind Krista, got Mercenary. Scotty recovering after going off Thailand Bend. He's got a bit of a gap over Courtier and Ross Macker. James Delaney, the 97 Red Bull Holden Racing Team car. Behind him, Andrew O'Hara, the Craig Lowndes liveried Autobahn ZB Commodore. And then another Red Bull Triple Eight car with Keen Lucas behind him. Got a car in the pits there. I don't know if that was, if he missed his pit box or he's retiring there, but he's looks like a scheduled to stop of some kind. Anyway, Brendan Cahill in the lead. He's got a big gap over Greg Brock now. So Brock has moved up to P2, so there has been an error somewhere that we've unfortunately missed. And off the road. See a nice battle pack now forming. Started to form up behind Greg Brock. They're limited out just a little bit, but they do look like that gap that was behind Brock and Tony French has started to close in just a little bit. So from P2 back, nice little battle pack. Got to move on in the background. That's Peter Reid trying to make his way through the field. He's got past his, so it was Matt Cotter, yeah. So Matt Cotter has made a mistake. I believe he was running in second or third position there, so he's dropped down and had an off somewhere. And Peter Reid in the pits. Compulsory pit stop in this series. I do apologise, I don't know the rules completely. So he's in the pits because it didn't look like he had any damage. He's just trying to get that way over, or get that out of the way over and done with as soon as possible. With that big battle pack in front of him, probably not a bad idea just to get into some clear air and to set some quick lap times and undercut some people. Gap formed between Brock and French. French has got a little bit of gap over Guttison. But behind him, Lazy. So he's starting to form a bit of a roadblock as you see Cotter running a little bit wide there on the exit of Britain's. And he's dropped off the back, that little pack due to that little mistake behind him. Johnny Eaton. Nissan, and he's got all over the back of him. So all travelling quite nicely at the moment. So right on board the Nissan. Having to get back out of it. He's not able to make the move stick in Druids. Just trying to set himself up for a move into Lodge, but again, he's not quite close enough, so he's going to have to be a bit more patient. Set up an exit and probably not going to be close enough into turn 1, but perhaps into turn 3 Cascades he might get it done. A little bit of oversteer wouldn't have helped him one bit. A lot of curb. He has got the better exit. It's a very, very narrow track. He backed out of it there. Probably should have kept his foot in just a little bit more anyway. Very, very difficult to go around the outside of Cascades. For now Johnny Eaton holds on to that position. We've had an off. Oh, we've had a bit of an incident there. So who that is? Tony French and trying to figure, and Scott Cortoon have had an incident there. So in fact, we'll actually go back and have a look at that on the replay. I do apologise for the shoddy graphics. But let's just go back and have a look. So it looks like right on board Tony French. So he's ran wide. He's missed the barrier, which is lucky because he would have written his car off if he didn't. Got back onto the track, but then got it on the throttle, lost the back end, went round again, and unfortunately, like he T-boned Scott Cortoon there. I don't think Cortoon lost too much time. Hopefully he hasn't got too much damage, but looks like Tony French does have a bit of damage. ZB Commodore. That's dropped him behind Anthony Casada. He's behind Scott Cortu. Oh, would have had another off there. That's between Hall and Brendan. And just look at that on the replay. So it looks like Johnny's made the move. He's ran wide, but unfortunately, unfortunately, Brendan sort of lost it on his own under braking there, and he went round. And poor old Hall had nowhere to go. So let's drop them. They're now behind Pisano, who's made up a couple of spots for absolutely nothing there. And in fact, Pisano was in front of Cortu, so perhaps Pisano was caught up in that as well. It's a bit of a lock-up, big lock-up, and a little bit of contact between Keys and Hobson, and that's forced Hobson off the road. And Cortu will take that position back, so frustrating for Hobson. And there's another position back for Scott Cortu. Keys pushing very, very hard. Exit of turn 1 there. And looks like he's slowing down. As Cortu tried to go around the outside, very, very aggressive. It's never going to make that move stick, and he's off into the boonies. It did sort of look like that Keys is slowing down to possibly redress the position, but possibly not there. He's decided to brake a bit early, being on the inside, and pull it up. Johnny Eaton now trying to chase down Matt Cotter. A little bit sideways on the exit of Britton's there. So he's on his own. Simon Phillips is a bit of fresh air as well, as is Guttison in front of him. Both of them in Monster Energy Falcons. In front of them, Greg Brock also out on his own in second place. Brendan Cahill, I don't think that gap's grown too much, so it looks like Brock's put together a couple solid laps, and it looks like Cahill's going to go around again, so he's not pitting. So there's first and second on your screen. So Cahill in the lead. Brock second place. We'll just work our way back now. Riley Gutterson third place, and first of the Monster Energy Falcons. And Simon Phillips in fourth place. Matt Cotter in fifth, using a lot of curb in his ride. Almost in the barrier on the left hand side there, and that's allowed Johnny Eaton now up into about fifth place, and Cotter down to sixth. Behind them, Jeff Hobson was just nudged off the road and then ran wide here just one lap ago. Seventh place. Got Hall in 8th, Cortu 9th, Sana in 10th place, and Ross Macker 11th. And the reason why he's got a lap time is because he's the one that supplied the replay. So we'll get live time from him, and at some point we'll ride on board with him for a lap and see what lap time he set. As Lane in the background mocking up just a bit there to Shillwell's corner. And she's got Andy O'Hara right behind him. Battle pack forming here. Behind Andy O'Hara, got Peter Reid, who is recovering after that incident at the start. And we've got Brendan also recovering after he had that lock just here a couple of laps ago. Behind him, Tony French, as you can see, battle scarred ZB Commodore. It's certainly seen better days. Keane Lucas, his rear left, probably seen better days as well, judging by that sliding there. And we've got Courtier, Mercenary, Josh Lynn, who got some serious airtime in the opening couple laps. He's looking to recover. Doesn't look like he's got too significant damage, but I don't think that car would be at its best, that's for sure. And looks like he's going to try and make a move into Lodge. And he'll get that done easily. Mercenary gives him the room. And Lynn up a spot. That said though, doesn't like Mercenary's giving it up, and he's forced Lynn to go a bit defensive. But in the end didn't quite get a good enough run out of Lodge. And Josh Lynn holds on for now. Behind them is Scotty. He was starting from pole position, but the first lap went off at Island Bend. Somehow avoided the barrier, but would have been all but half a metre away from the barrier. And if he had hit it, probably would have ripped the front of the car off, but got away with it. But unfortunately, that's dropped him well down the field and out of contention, unfortunately for him. Behind him, Ash Webster on his own. I do believe he entered the pits early on as well, that we did pick up. David Brister, who must have made a pit stop because he was further up the grid. And he's just been lapped there by Brendan Cahill, who's got Brock, who's been closing in. We did see about, I think it was about 2 laps ago, and that gap was double what it is there, so perhaps a mistake or a little bit of traffic perhaps. Or perhaps just some fantastic laps from Brock, but Brock has certainly cut that gap down from visually, probably would have been about 4 seconds to probably about 2 now. And once again, a little bit of a lock up there for Brendan Cahill. And at the moment, looks like Brock, looks like he's the one that has got a car underneath him that is much more comfortable to drive, that's for sure. And Cahill very, very wide there. It's Island Bend. You do not want to touch the grass on the outside there. So we've already seen a couple of cars off the boonies there. One hit the barrier, or almost, or 2 cars almost hit the barrier. Which is very, very easy to do. Brock looks like he's visually closing, so his game is visually quite a bit on this lap alone. In fact, we're right on board. Let's see how he's going, but yeah, as you can see, that gap now less than a second, I'd say, or just on the fringes of a second. And a couple laps ago, yeah, it would have been 3 or 4 seconds. So Brock putting in some good laps, closing that gap down after dropped fairway back early on. And smooth on the exit, uses all of the road, so it's not stressing the rear tyres too much. Doesn't seem to be blocking brakes either. A bit of a wider turning in point as well, and that gives him a much better run through turn 1, and he's looking much more comfortable out there at the moment. Cahill now, he's on the defensive. Having a look, but not quite close enough. A little bit of a lock up, but not a major one. He's had a better run though from Shellaw's corner, but not quite close enough to make the move, or to attempt to move into Britain's. With those tyre bundles there, you don't want to be hitting them. But he's got a much better run on the exit, has Brock. And he had a turn 9, and they're going to go side by side to Hislops. Brock trying to go around the outside, isn't going to make it stick, but going to try and get Cahill on the switchback, and he's going to have the inside coming into Druid. So if that Nissan just has a little bit of straight line speed, he should be able to hold on the grass. Cahill tries to hold it around the outside. He's on the grass, a little bit wide, but fantastic racing from Brock. And some great racing from Cahill just to keep it on the road there. Both of them on the absolute limit. But Brock now into the lead. He's put together fantastic the last few laps to close down that gap. And now he's put a fantastic move on to take the lead. And with those two battling, Gutterson's also closed quite a bit on these two. So that's the front 3. They've got a bit of a gap over Simon Phillips, who's in 4th. And then we've got Hall in 5th place, who's not too far away either. And we've got David Brisson, who I do believe is a lap down. And then we've got Scott Cortu. And he's got Johnny Eaton right behind him as well. And then we've got Jeff Hobson, Ross Macker, James Delaney, Andy O'Hara. Nice little battle pack here. Macker, Hobson side by side. Oh, and that's his Delaney on the grass. And I was just saying it a lap ago, you don't want to be on the grass out there. He has avoided the barrier, but that will drop him down quite a number of spots. Well, not as many as I thought, but this car certainly looking a bit worse for wear now. And that's Peter Reid dropping David Bristol, I believe. And then we've got Andy O'Hara. He's dropped back a little bit off this pack, but it looks like he's just waiting for these guys to sort themselves out in front of him. So they continue to battle. 4-2 now's got a little bit of a gap over Johnny Eaton and Ross Macca right there. Andy O'Hara, one of the quicker drivers in the field, but did start a little bit down the field in this one. So we're interested to see how he gets his way through the field and see if he can get to the front. But it's been faultless so far. Now we've got a couple of drivers in the pits. All the Nissan drivers there. Let's just go through. So we've got core 2, Eaton. And Paul. In the pits. Anybody else in? No. So all those drivers in and now out of the pits. So Hall comes out, he cycles out in front of Lucas. He's just had that off. And he's got Delaney in front of him. So it's Delaney, I believe, that had that off. And we've missed the move between O'Hara and Hobson. And around the outside goes the 888 ZB Commodore. And up another spot goes Andy O'Hara. Now he sets his sights on the green Nissan Ross Macca. He's got a little bit of a slide on there. His rear tyres won't like that too much. Neither will the stopwatch. So get those pit stops now. Finds himself with a bit of free air. And it looks like Brendan Cahill has pitted as well. Or he's made a mistake because he locks up there. Quite a big lock up coming into Lodge. So perhaps Cahill did pit because he wasn't. Yeah, he was a bit further down the road to O'Hara and Macca a few laps ago. So I did say we're going to stay with Macca for a lap and see what lap time he sets. Well, we'll do it now when he's under a bit of pressure from O'Hara behind. So how does he handle a bit of hot sauce? So you can see all the skid marks there. All the unweighted tyres and tyre lockups. Does look like he's closed in just a little bit on this lap alone as Macca, the car in front. Can't quite have a look in the mirror and see how close O'Hara is behind, but I don't think he's too far away. A lot of lock there. Nickerbrook. Water Tower and now Druids. Cahill also saw very, very wide there through there. The Druids and Macca right behind him, so it looks like we're going to have a 3-car battle pack here. Macca on the limit there, under braking, a little bit sideways, had to correct it, straighten it up. Cahill in the pits, so he must have made another mistake. So his tyres, perhaps he's got an aggressive setup or just driving it a little bit too hard. But as you saw there, a bit sideways and a bit of understeer as well for Cahill, and must have had a spin somewhere and dropped him into the clutches of Macca. And now he's decided to bring it in. There's Andy O'Hara still right there, not putting too much pressure on, perhaps just biding his time. Simon Phillips not too far up the road. And we've got Scotty, who looks like he's incurred a bit of damage somewhere, so he's had an off somewhere. And I think that's him a lap down as well, which is a bit of a shame after where he started. His race after the third corner has been all downhill. And Guttison finds himself behind. Been lazy. Now, unfortunately, I do not know the positions, and with all these pit stops going on, I'm not exactly sure where people are, so I do apologise. Throwing everything out of whack. It's O'Hara now. Continues to pressure Macca, and not far behind him. Peter Reid, not too far away either. Recovering after his mistake at the start. We've got Brock, so I do believe O'Hara must have pitted because Brock's pitted. I'm just trying to work out if he has. Perhaps he's stopped very early on, or he hasn't stopped. I don't know. Unfortunately, timing does not help in the replay. But anyway, looks like Macca hasn't had the greatest exit. He's gone a bit defensive coming into his slops. Blowtorch just being amped up a little bit. His run wide just a little bit there on the exit of Knickerbrook. O'Hara's just biding his time. Doesn't look like he's in any kind of rush. That's his Scotty. Looks like he's made a mistake there at Druids. Went a bit wide. Did see a bit of dust being kicked up there, and he's let the Macca and O'Hara through. So Peter Reid is closing. He's cut that gap just a little bit on that last lap as well. Probably about 1.5, 2 seconds. And, Scotty getting it out of his way there. And then Greg Brock, he's also pushing hard to try and make that a 4-car battle there. But at the moment, plenty of free air for him. James Delaney is probably about 4 seconds behind him. Scott Kortoom and Simon Phillips now duking it out. Behind him, Johnny Eaton, Keen Lucas, Brendan Cahill after his pit stops dropped quite a few spots down. And Matt Cotter, with big slide coming out of Cascades, and that's going to encourage Jeff Hobson, no doubt. Right on board. Grass and curb usage there for Cotter. Just had a decent run through the mid corner there at Shellaw's corner, but didn't get on the power too confidently. Once again, a lot of curb use. A bit of exuberance there from Matt Cotter. Him is Hall as well, who we know has stopped. Scotty looks like he's got some kind of issue. He's slowing down. Deepris also a lap down. Not Mercenary, he's out on his own at the moment. Looks like he's had a bit of an off somewhere as well. He's got a bit of damage, a bit of dirt on his ZB. Courtier behind him. Brendan being lazy. Riley Gutterson. Ross Macca, and Andy O'Hara continues to press. Can't find a way past Ross Macca at the moment. Doesn't look like Peter Reid gained too much on that last lap, so it looks like Macca gets a big slide coming out of Britain's, and that's going to give O'Hara a golden opportunity to get round, but Macca immediately defensive on the inside to Hislops, and he'll hold on to the position for now. But that cost these two a bit of time, and that certainly would have encouraged Peter Reid in behind. And another slide for Macca there on the exit. I think his rear tyres might be just starting to go just a little bit. Because, yeah, that rear end of that car certainly is sliding around a lot more than O'Hara or Reid's car that we've seen the last couple of laps. On board Andrew O'Hara. Let's see how he tackles the Oulton Park International. He's wide on the turn, it was nice and smooth. Wider entry into Cascades, hugs the inside, nice and smooth on the exit. Fifth gear, Island Bend, very, very wide there for Macca in front. He's going to try and get a little bit of a crisscross on his O'Hara, a little bit of a slide once again from Macca in front. Curve does O'Hara use through the chicane? Not as much as Cotter, but smoother. Had to get a little bit of a save on there. But nice and smooth. Smashes down the gears. Second gear. Maybe trying to take that wider entry and get the better exit. He's done it well there actually. Took the wider entry. Was able to get on the power just a little bit earlier. Run out wider. Some good driving from Macca there, but as you can see, body language of his car, that rear end isn't as planned as what O'Hara's is, and it's only a matter of time, one feels, before he makes it through. Very, very late on the brakes. Macca had to go a bit defensive. He's got the better exit. In fact, O'Hara had to get out of the throttle just a little bit. Around the final corner there, it's a bit too close. Things are certainly spiced up. So again, a little bit of a slide there for Macca, and one feels that O'Hara's starting to get a little impatient now. Looks like they're coming up to some lap traffic. Looks like that's Mercenary, I believe, in front of them. So hopefully he gets out of the way, doesn't cause any issues. It's behind them. Let's see what's going on. So we've got Brock. He's sort of James Delaney starting to close on him by the looks of it. Riley Gutterson, he's either made a mistake or pitted because he was in front of Ross Macca, and Brendan Beanlazy, he was well in front of these guys, so he's made a mistake. Or fuel saving. Oh, another big slide from Ross Macca, turn 9. Now O'Hara's having a look up the inside of Knickerbrook, but it's always going to end in disaster, so backs out of it. And these guys now not far off that race lead. The field's starting to compress just a little bit at the front. At least between the front three. Looks like Reid's dropped off just a little bit. Once again, Ross, another slide under braking, coming into Lodge. That's only just going to encourage O'Hara behind. And it looks like Relays are getting out of the way, so perhaps lap traffic. Or he's got an issue of some kind. So he was up the field earlier on the race. Unfortunately, don't have the live timing to go over and actually know, but just guessing at the moment. Once again, Macca, his rear tyres not in a good place. Having to work the steering wheel. Little bits of oversteer everywhere. I don't think using the curb. Ooh, once again, sideways. Perhaps just a very, very stiff setup. His car's just bouncing just a little bit too much compared to O'Hara's behind. Might be running just a little bit higher and a little bit softer. He's able to ride the bumps just a bit better. But at the moment, Macca's car is bouncing, is sliding. And looks like he belongs more in Tokyo Drift than in a supercar race. it's actually quite apt that he's got flames on coming off the back of those rear tyre arch there, because pretty sure if he had a tyre cam, that's what it would look like. His rear tyre's on fire at the moment. The way his rear end is sliding all over the place. So we get rear looking view. Another little bit of a block up there into Lodge for Macca. Looks like on that lap he's just extended out just a little bit over O'Hara behind. 27.1 at that time around. Once again, Macca not the greatest out of turn 1. O'Hara seems to be very, very strong there. He's taken that wider entry as well for turn 2. And O'Hara looks much more comfortable through the first 2 turns, that's for sure. So you can see just how bumpy this Oulton Park circuit is. A little bit of a lock-up for Macca. And O'Hara trying to double apex or take that wide apex and get the better exit, but Macca planted his car beautifully, and O'Hara nowhere to go. That said, though, O'Hara as close as he's ever been, and Macca immediately defensive coming up to turn 10, 11 and 12. Had a good exit coming out of Nickerbrook. Just give himself some breathing space. So once again, we'll see how he handles the braking zone for Lodge here. Better this time around, didn't lose the back end. In fact, as O'Hara almost ran into the back of him, and that's why he got that slide on. Had to slam on the brakes just a little bit more, and he's actually a bit too much weight and pitch. Back end got a little bit loose for O'Hara, but didn't spin it, didn't run into the back of Macca, thankfully, and this battle can continue. Once again. Oh, big slide, bit of a lock up, and then it's forced Macca wide. It's O'Hara not close enough to capitalise. Track not wide enough really as well to capitalise and just send it up the inside. Once again, a little bit of a slide under braking. But despite these two battling, looks like these two, yeah, they're extending their gap over Peter Reid behind. So these two are racing hard. And it has to be said that Macca being on the absolute limit, or looking like it, edging away. Forced O'Hara to go around to try and go around the outside there, but not going to get it done unless you're ahead. These two just edging away from Peter Reid in third. Brendan being lazy. It appears to be lap tracking Brock a little bit wide there. And that's allowed Delaney to have a good run on him, but George is a bit too fast. Unless you're side by side already going into the corner, you can't really just send it up there. Ooh, Delaney very, very sideways on the exit. A bit of a lock up there to Lodge for Delaney. But these two, Delaney has closed the gap throughout this stint, throughout the last couple of laps, and now he's right behind Brock. He was running a bit higher earlier on, but looks like his pace has just dropped off a little bit. And he's starting to fall now into the clutches of Delaney. He's having a look up the inside. So once again, can't quite get it done. Delaney looks like he's enjoying getting the rear end out on the exit corners. About every corner we've seen, last half a lap, is got the rear end out just a little bit. Being lazy, out of the way. Ooh, and Delaney clipping the grass there on the exit, on the inside. Got him a little bit sideways. So battling hard, just move up ahead. And O'Hara has taken the lead, so we've moved back through the field to see what was going on. Unfortunately, we've missed the change for the lead, so we will actually go back and have a look at that. So unfortunately, set of course, it doesn't have the greatest replay tools for me to go back and do it without, or to go back and make it look fancy. But we'll go back, have a look, see how O'Hara got the job done. And that has completely stuffed things up, so I'm just going to have to try and find that once again. I do apologise. I do believe this is it's probably a lap or two away. Alright, hopefully this is it. Alright. Although that said, just see if this is it. I might have to skip ahead again because that looks like yeah, still not quite up to the right point. Alright, here we go. This is the point, I do believe. Right, so O'Hara wasn't too close coming out of Knickerbrook. But we're right on board with him. Oh, Macca very, very wide and slow, and that's Gavin O'Hara the run coming out of Jewett's and then up the inside and into the lead. It was a fantastic effort from Macca to hold out for as long as he did, but O'Hara just kept applying the blowtorch, and eventually Macca had to give way. Eventually he did give way, so change for the lead there. Then Peter Reid third place, being lazy, and then Brock. Although we have seen this, so I do apologise. But stick with it. Go back. So we've got Scott Cortoon. He's out on his own, and looks like he's had a couple of ventures off from the boonies himself. As has Riley Guttison. Behind him, Simon Phillips, his teammate, Mercenary, who I believe is a lap down. Then we've got Johnny Eaton, Keen Lucas, and then Jeff Hobson, who was much higher up the field, but a couple of offs that's dropped him down the field. Brendan Cahill was leading for a lot of the race, but it looks like he's made a couple of mistakes, and that's dropped him down the field. Then we've got Hall, Matt Cotter. Again, he was a bit higher up the field early on the race, but as the race has gone on, has dropped down the field. A shame for him. We've got Portier, Scotty, who did start at the front, but on the first lap at turn 4, ran wide, as we've seen 3 or 4 drivers do now. And for him, thankfully, he missed the barrier, but that dropped him from first position all the way down the back of the field. And then we've got David Christer a lap down, and then we're back to Andy O'Hara, who, since taking the lead after about a lap and a half, 2 laps, he's built up a handy gap over Macca, who continues to push, as you can see, sliding that back out once again, but he just doesn't have the pace at the moment to stick with Andrew O'Hara. So I'll cut back now to the Greg Brock and James Delaney battle. Closest battle on track at the moment. And, as you can see, Delaney does like a loose rear end. As you see, it looks like Lazy off in the background there. Yep. Doesn't hinder anybody, thankfully. But he doesn't damage his car. Delaney continues to harry the back of Greg Rock. Continues sliding the car around as well. Both of them very, very wide, using all the road through 10, 11 and 12. Oh, and Delaney, his rear left was already loaded, being on the throttle, but then got unsettled even further as the tyre just grazed the curb on the outside, and that's why he got that big slide on. Did save it, so good driving Once again, sideways through Druids, but he is close to Brock. He is having a look. Brock goes defensive, forces Delaney to go to the outside. Delaney now trying to get him on the switchback. Bit of a slide for Brock on the exit, and Delaney going to have to go around the outside into turn 1. Side by side over the line. And Brock holds on for now, but Brock locks up, and that's him off. And in fact, that may be the race. So that was right down to the wire. Andy O'Hara takes it. Ross Macca second, Peter Reid third. And God, isn't doing an endo then in the back there. But yeah, right at the end there. In fact, we'll have a look at that on the replay, because that was a photo finish between Delaney and Brock there. In fact, we'll start just a little bit further back. Right on board Brock, so he didn't have the greatest of exits. And then it was just a drag. And Delaney just taking it in the end. So Brock would be a little bit annoyed with himself. He couldn't quite, just applied a little bit too much throttle coming out of the final corner. And that little slide cost him right at the death. But fantastic racing up and down the field, it has to be said, throughout the race. And hopefully we see this continue throughout this season, but hopefully we see some fantastic racing on the broadcast next season. So, from Lewis Wedding here, I hope you've enjoyed this little test broadcast, and hopefully it come through good for you guys. And yeah, you'll hopefully be getting a few of these in 2020. Cheers.